those who don't know the state of the UK market, it's continued to grow, as most markets have. It's continued to grow well over the past 10 to 15 years. We're currently about 1.7 million ocean cruise guests in the UK, about 150,000 river cruise guests out of the UK. But I think that third statistic on there is quite important and quite telling. And that is about a third of all cruise guests that are sourced in the UK each year are brand new to cruise. In other words, they have never before taken a cruise holiday. 500,000 people a year from the UK that we have managed to convince as an industry to switch from a well-known holiday to one on an ocean or a river. And that's significant. And it's significant because we can only continue to grow the cruise industry if we continue to attract those people who've never taken a cruise holiday before. I genuinely believe, actually, and it was nice to listen to some of the presentations yesterday, I genuinely believe that we're at the beginning of a new era for cruising. That the cruise industry is about to go through some fundamental changes. If you think about some of the new ships that are being developed, so MSC Seaside, for example, a new platform, a new style of cruise ship. If you look at the LNG development by Costa Cruises, if you look at some of the recent Royal Caribbean announcements around their Quantum class ships as well as their Oasis class ships, all of these are significant changes in the way that people take a cruise holiday. In addition, we're seeing growth in the ultra-luxury sector, so growth from companies like Regent and Silversea. We're seeing growth in the expedition market, such as Hertz Gruden building a new expedition ship. As we've just heard, we of course have got growth in river cruising. If you look at the traditional type of cruise ship, particularly for the UK market, we're seeing growth in the fleets by, for example, Thomson Cruises, Cruise Maritime Voyages. So all of this means that there's an awful lot of new product coming online. I think it was something like 46 new ships over the next 5 years, somebody mentioned. But actually it's not the volume of ships that's particularly interesting. I think it's also the style of ship and also the interaction that the guest has on board the ship. If you think about cruising 10 years ago, people went on board, they had a great time, there was great cruise ship entertainment, there was great cruise ship food, there was great cruise ship activities. If you now look at the proposition that customers are seeing for the first time, they're able to go on board and enjoy food by celebrity chefs. They're able to go on board and see well-known Broadway-style shows. They're able to go on board and eat food by Michelin-starred chefs or celebrity chefs. So the proposition is changing, and this is why I think we have a new language. We're able to talk about cruising in a way that's different to how we spoke about cruising 10 years ago, because people understand their well-known brands. Everything from Starbucks on board cruise ships to Lego, for example, allows us to talk about cruising in a different way. The other significant change that's happening in cruise, of course, is the destinations that we feature. And again, I go back to the importance of that relationship with the ports and destinations. So places like Cuba, some of the new rivers that are coming online, such as the Loire, some of the new Far East destinations, Asian destinations, making it a really exciting time to suddenly be in the cruise industry. So we are absolutely about to enter a new era, a new dawn for cruise holidays. But we must also remember our limitations. Customers, potential customers, are used to going on city breaks, on city tours. They're used to going to beach hotels. One day our competition might even be holidays in space. You never know. Maybe not while I'm still here. Ski holidays, so holidays that people are used to. We still have that great competition. So actually when a cruise line talks about the competition they face, the competition is not from another cruise line. The competition they face is from another holiday type. So that means that we have challenges ahead in order to continue to grow the number of people taking a cruise. Remember, in the UK, a third of all cruise guests, a third are new to cruise each year. So that's one of the challenges. The second challenge is that many people still have misconceptions. If you take the UK market is probably one of the oldest cruise markets in the world. We've been cruising for about 177 years. But still people don't understand the cruise proposition. They don't understand that cruising offers the right holiday for them. Now, in order to get that message across, of course, cruise lines can go direct to the consumer. They can tell the consumer how great a cruise holiday is. I've got a couple of stats on them. I'll read through them because I think these are quite interesting. So 204 million emails sent 2 million search inquiries, particularly through Google, 571 brand new websites, 690,000 Facebook updates, I've seen most of them myself, 48 hours of video added, and 34,000 Facebook likes. Really impressive stats. This isn't what happens in the digital space every month. This isn't what happens in the digital space every day. This happens digitally every single hour of every single day. So if we are relying upon sending an email, within that hour, another 204 million emails will compete for that attention of the customer. If we have a great website, we're competing against a brand new 571 competitor websites just that hour. So how do we cut through? How do we make ourselves heard? What's great about the travel agent network, of course, is that cruise lines suddenly have thousands of advocates who are also talking about cruise holidays. And that's important. It's important because we need to reach those yet to cruise guests. So I've done a little bit of a calculation. In the UK in 2014, about 4% of holidaymakers took a cruise. 42% of holidaymakers have said that if the right cruise was presented to them, they would book a cruise holiday. 42%. So what does that mean? It means that if we were to get those 42% of adults who have never cruised before to take a cruise because we presented them with the right cruise holiday, we would go from 1.7 million cruise holiday guests to nearly 16 million. We'd need a few more beds, obviously, a few more ships maybe, but that's the potential, that's the opportunity. And that's why travel agents are so important. Travel agents are so important for the future of our industry because they know the holidaymakers. They have the relationship with the holidaymaker. They know where they've been on holiday before, they know what they like. So it's very easy for a travel agent to talk to a customer who always takes a city break so that we can suggest a river cruise, for example. Or holidaymakers who like to go somewhere different, a sense of adventure, so we offer them an expedition cruise. Someone who likes a big resort-style hotel, lots to do for the family, and we can suggest one of the larger ships with so much to do. By investing in our travel agent partners, we suddenly have a network of great advocates for our industry. And we need advocates sometimes. We need advocates because customers sometimes need reassurance that they're making the right holiday choice. We need them because they know how to how to sell the right holiday to the right customer. And sometimes we need those advocates. Sometimes customers just need to know with confidence that to go from their traditional holiday choice to something so different as a cruise that they are making the right decision. There's one other thing about travel agents that many people may not know. On the right-hand side, represented, is the grey market I know a little bit about, called the mature market. The target market for many ocean and river cruise operators, the mature market. And on the other side, this side, are what we call millennials, people aged between about 30 and 18. One of the biggest consumer buying groups that has ever walked the planet in terms of the volume of them and in terms of the buying power that they have. So matures and millennials. The most likely group of customer to use a travel agent is the millennial. Almost 30% of millennials will use a travel agent. That's more than in the mature market. We're an industry that needs to bring in new customers. We need to talk to the millennial. The best way to do that is through our travel agent network. Not only do we need travel agents to suggest a cruise, we also need travel agents to get the right customer onto the right ship. As an industry, we are the most creative and exciting part of the travel sector. Our investment, our innovation, our creativity is fantastic. But it creates a problem to customers who've never cruised before. And that problem is, which ship is right for me? Which cruise line is right for me? And in fact, even if you go to a ship, if you take a ship like Norwegian Escape, for example, that was in the UK very recently, fantastic ship, but there's also a ship within that ship. So the Haven Suites on Norwegian Escape offers a very different product to the rest of the ship. We can't expect to educate the customer on all these different products, on all these different cruise ships, on all these different cruise lines. That's where the expertise and the knowledge of our travel agent community is so important. It also means, of course, that destination knowledge is vital as part of that relationship with the potential customer. Customers are used to flying to destinations, laying on a beach, taking a city tour. They're not used to some of the destinations that many of the cruise lines take. There are some hidden gem destinations, even in the Med, one of the most popular cruising regions. Thank you very much. Hello. Have I been talking to myself for the last hour? Because if you've missed it, it was really good. But thank you very much. Good night. No, did you not hear a thing? You heard all right. Thank you. I prefer this one. I sound deeper in this one.
Yeah, but now we can hear you better.
Now you can hear me. Now I can put on my voice. Thank you. That hasn't thrown me at all. I have no idea what I was saying. But I think it's centered around the fact that travel agents are quite important. What I was saying is that even in a very popular cruising area like the Mediterranean, there are still hidden gem destinations that only good travel agents know about. I was lucky enough to go on a cruise recently out of Istanbul, I think, all the way up to Venice, and we stopped by Kotor. Has anyone been to Kotor? Yeah. One of the most beautiful places in the Mediterranean I've been to. Stunning. And actually, as a sales proposition, as a reason for customers to take that cruise, it's pretty much ranked really high up. But it's one of those destinations that you don't expect. We need to know about these destinations. Travel agents need to know about these destinations. And again, I go back to, it's really important, that link between travel agents and ports and destinations. Not just that these are great places, but actually when you get to Copenhagen, or when you get to Barcelona, or when you get to Malta, what should your customer do? Where should they go? Where should they go? And actually, to make it even more difficult, cruising takes guests to places that they would never have gone to before, or that they wouldn't even think of going to on a land-based holiday. Think of places like Alaska, the Russian Far East, some of the Asian destinations, some of the great river cruise destinations of the world. These are places that you wouldn't ordinarily go to on a land-based holiday, but you do on a cruise. We need to know about those destinations. So how do we do that? So back in 1987, actually way before I was ever born, just testing you were listening. Back in 1987, in the UK we launched our first travel agent program, and that's evolved and changed, of course, as the industry itself has evolved and changed over those years. I joined the organisation 10 years ago, and we launched online for the very first time. What's important about the learning program that we offer in the UK is it's not just about learning. We of course have around 100 learning modules about what the customer experience is like, about what the destination experience is like, how to read a brochure, about how to overcome misconceptions, how to switch sell, how to introduce a cruise holiday to customers who've never thought about it before. And as a result of completing modules, they get to reach accreditation, which is recognition from the industry that they've spent time and invested their own time and energy into learning and understanding the intricacies of the market. But beyond accreditation, we all know there's an awful lot happening in our industry. We know that there are new ports opening, and that in ports new things are happening. New styles of excursions, new opportunities, new dining experiences are starting. Now on board, the experience is changing. And actually keeping up with those changes is our biggest challenge. Understanding why those changes are taking place is another opportunity. So our learning is not just about online modules, although that's really important. It's also about the news behind the news. We also use social media. We use social media because half the room, I suspect, uses social media on a frequent basis. So why not reach out to travel agents and get that level of understanding of going where travel agents are already on social media. So we split our website into 3 sections. We have our Learning Academy of modules. We have our Cruise Daily. It's like a daily newspaper of what's happening. What new products are launches, what new ships are coming, what new destinations, what new brochures. And then we have our third area, which is our toolbox, with our search engine, with details of every single ship afloat, with every single brochure that you can book from, with every port and destination in the world listed, so that we get to understand where our customers are going and where our customers can go. I like the ringtone. So that was my 2-minute warning. I need to get off before the song finishes. The other part about what we do in the UK is offline. In other words, we like to do events still. We like to, because we have the opportunity in our industry to see ships in a way that we don't see the hotels that a lot of our customers visit overseas. So we combine ship visits with training, with networking with those important suppliers, whether they're the ports and destinations or our cruise line members. And it's about feeling part of a cruise community, because that interaction, that learning from each other, that level of understanding about what's happening enables us to be better sellers of cruise. It gives us that confidence to suggest a cruise holiday to a customer who walks in and says, I want to go on holiday to the Med, enabling us to say, well, have you thought about taking a cruise? And that's how we convert all of those holiday makers to a cruise for the first time. It's how we overcome those misconceptions. It's how we ensure that we continue to fill these amazing ships that are being built and launched over the next few years and that are currently sailing the 7 seas as well as the rivers. And I'm pleased to be able to say that over the next 12 months, working very closely with Alfredo and his team at CLIA Spain, CLIA will be launching a learning program in Spain for the Spanish travel agents, in order that we can all work together to make sure that we continue to get more people to cruise. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much.